Parenting is the hardest job, and there is not a close second. Raising high-performing teen athletes or performers? That's a high-stakes job. I'm Nate Crandall, joined by fellow certified high-performance coach Steve Galley. We coach ambitious parents like you, and also your high-performing teens, because when you both level up, connection and results don't just improve, they multiply. Welcome to the Stop Parenting and Start Coaching podcast. We have some burning questions for you. Coach Galley, I am so very excited to be here with you today. I love what we are getting into.
I'm extremely happy to be here with you. I've got some burning questions for you. Ready?
Yes. Oh, I'm so ready.
Do your motivational talks feel more like monologues? Blah, 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 blah. Do you worry your teen only hears you when you raise your voice?
Valid.
I didn't ask that correctly. I should have actually raised my voice at the end instead of quieting my voice. Okay, Do you feel like you've lost influence with your teen and within your household?
These are some powerful questions to think about. Hopefully, if people are driving, they're not getting too distracted by those questions, because these are good, really good opportunity to dig in. They, to me, it sounds like they center around one very important topic. And it makes me think of a moment in the play Hamilton, which I love. I think it's a great show, but there's a line in there that sticks with me that I think is super topical here. It's where Aaron Burr says, "Talk less, smile more." It's almost like a politician approach. And in your own home, sometimes that's not a bad way to approach building your household culture. Talk less and smile more.
Would that be hard to do?
I think it's very hard to do, especially as a parent, because, we know we're wise. And honestly, pretty much every parent listening to this is wise. They have tons of great experience, tons of great life experience. And if their kids would just listen, the kids would probably be able to do more. But
how many times is that? If he would just listen, if she would just listen to me.
And that's the real important topic here, is how do we get our kids to actually do that more? Because it's hard enough as a parent to get them to listen. And even when you do things well, sometimes it can be really hard. This is why it's important to have outside influences, significant non-parental adults is what the research calls them, that can jump in and do that. That could be a grandma, a grandpa, an aunt, an uncle, a coach for their sport, a personal coach that they might have. There's all sorts of different positive adult influences that can help with this. But as a parent, we want to maximize our ability. And I think talking less, smiling more is a really good approach to that, because you don't need a louder voice. Often what you need is fewer words, better timing.
I like that. And if you are prone to using that louder voice, using less of it is going to be very, very helpful.
Yes.
And I also think teens are really, I'm going to say not just teens. We as humans, we're very sensitive to how people talk to us, with us.
Yes.
And if a teen feels like they are being talked to, being lectured, and the tone of voice gets louder and louder, they tune out.
Yeah. What you say disappears, how you say it takes over.
For sure. If they had a mute button, if they had a remote.
Yep. It's like a Charlie Brown thing. It just turns into the want-was. There's some great research on this that talks about how the percentage is roughly, I want to say it's like 71% or somewhere in that neighborhood of the communication that we do just as human beings is nonverbal, how we say something, not what we say. And that's something really important to keep in mind. Many times, I know I made this mistake too many times as a parent and even as a coach, of talking too much, over talking, and not connecting enough. And if I talk less, smile more, that helps me to say better words and focus a little more on the connecting.
I used to teach, back in the day, I used to teach next door to a teacher that this is sad. He died very young.
Oh,
Yeah, he died at age 60 or 61. Anyway, he was kind of an angry guy, but I remember him pulling kids out in the hall, and he would start the conversation by saying, "You are not going to do any talking. You are only going to do listening." I would sometimes, through the little door glass on my window, I'd keep an eye on this so that it didn't turn into a international incident. But so you're saying that's not the way to go?
no, it's not. And there's, again, interesting research. One of the most powerful things to think about in your relationships with your teens is your influence, levels of influence. And so many of the parents that listen to this are incredible, high performing people. They do great with their jobs. They influence a lot of people there, and they know what it means to be successful. But then when they go home, they have a hard time working that same type of relationship with their kids. And so the influence at home, so much of that centers around the ability to listen and connect in that way. Because as you talk more, your influence decreases.
So are you saying they probably shouldn't give a TED talk at dinner?
No, no.
Unless it's invited. Unless it's
Yes,
like, hey mom, tell us about this, or hey dad, tell me about this, and it's a natural
I
thing.
I will add this though. If your kids ask you to talk about something, don't talk long. Because if they know that they're going to ask you and it is going to turn into a TED talk, they probably won't ask. But if they know that you're going to give them a 30-second awesome soundbite, they're way more likely to ask you the questions.
So should I ask them, do you want a short? Do you want a reel? Or do you want a TED talk? Should I give them options? I'm joking around here.
Okay, I was taking it serious and I was going to say I don't think you give them options. I think you assume they want the short or the reel and you go that route.
And then if they say, "Oh boy, we want more,"
well,
then give
if they want
more.
the TED talk, what they'll do is they'll ask a second question. They'll ask you a follow-up question. And that's so much more. It's kind of like an appetizer. The appetizer isn't huge. You sit down at a great restaurant. If they bring out this massive appetizer, you eat it and you have no appetite for anything else. Same approach with these conversations with the kids, especially if you're blessed to have them bring a question to you. Give them a soundbite, leave them hungry for more.
Earlier, Nate, you mentioned influence. We, in our coaching with high performing parents, one of the habits we work on is influence. It is definitely a high performance habit. And I've noticed that when you start to give more and more advice, your influence actually decreases.
Yes.
If it was like a gas tank, it would start leaving the F and it would start heading towards the E. Yes, it goes down. I'm going to give you a scenario. Let's take a swimmer.
Okay.
Because this is on my mind because I was watching some old Michael Phelps the other day, and those guys, those Olympians, they work in shaving off hundreds of a seconds.
Yes.
So if somebody says they shaved a full second off their time in swimming and they're at an elite level, that is a massive improvement. That's a massive amount of time. But sometimes as parents, we have such high expectations for our kids. We see their potential. We create these ideas of what we think they should be doing as far as performance. So let's say you have a really good swimmer and he shaves off a half a second off his PR. You're thinking that he should shave off at least a second. So you don't say anything. Now earlier you were saying, "Hey, say less," right? Let's don't say a lot. Why is saying less in this situation? Why is this a horrible idea?
To say less in that situation?
To not say anything. Just not say anything. Well, and he shaved off a half a second.
Are you saying my expectation of them was they should have shaved off a second?
Yeah.
That we need to have a different conversation about that then, because that's my expectation is not what matters.
Oh, exactly. This is what I wanted you to get into.
Well,
So what's the question? What's the conversation that you need to have with that teen?
You need to have a conversation with yourself, because it's like if you go into that believing they should have shaved a second off and they only shaved a half second off, it's doomed. It's never going to go good if that's the situation. In that moment, I have to be 100% in tune with them and what they need in that moment. And if they're bummed, I need to make sure that they understand I'm proud of what they accomplished. But I don't have to, again, the concept of saying less can be really powerful. Letting your kid have that time to sit in an emotionally uncomfortable space is not a bad thing, unless they're sensing that I'm disappointed. And if that's the situation, like the first thing I need to do as a parent is just express through specificity that I'm proud of them. And so that conversation might be as simple as, you seem like you're not happy with the progress you made, and you probably don't want to talk about it right now. Just know that I'm really proud of what you did. And then smile more. I
really like your perspective on that, Nate. Do you like the cello?
I love the cello.
I love the cello. My wife plays the cello, and I learned that it's the one stringed instrument that mimics the human voice.
Interesting.
The others don't.
That's kind of cool.
I thought that was kind of cool, but have you heard of Yo-Yo Ma?
Oh boy.
Yeah, we're talking Yo-Yo Ma, the cellist, not Yo-Yo Ma as part of like a bad joke or, a trash talking. His father really, really pushed him early. Like the talent was there, he was interested, and so he really drove him. But I'm not going to tell the whole story here, but his dad really emphasized finding joy in the music.
Mm-hmm.
And that really led to some balance. So we're talking about this swimmer trying to shaves off a half a second. The high achieving parent that goes silent because he wanted a full second off. That's terrible. This is like you're on the extreme end. The one that just bloviates and talks forever, like I am right now, about how great it was that they shaved off a half a second, and this is what you could do to shave off another half a second. You're extolling all your wisdom to them. What about finding the balance of just letting them talk about the performance, asking them some really good questions about, how do you think you did that? What was your mindset going into the race? Did you feel differently in this race than the races where you swam slower? I mean, there's so many good questions, and then you can zip it and just listen to them. So
yeah,
I've got a practical tip for the parents.
Go for it.
It's a driving metaphor. This is for all the people out there doing rolling stops. Okay, you know who you are. In fact, if you're listening to this and you're driving, when was your last rolling stop? Was it within the last minute? Was it, within the last 10 minutes? Make a complete stop in your conversations. Ask the question and make a complete stop, and don't move the car again for a while. Let people honk at you. You got something?
I should let people honk at you. That just cracks me up. I just wanted to leave. My practical advice really goes back to the words from Hamilton. Talk less, smile more. Fewer words, better timing. That's going to help you find more joy in the journey, and it's going to help your kids to find more joy in the journey too. Celebrate. Those are good things. Talk less, smile more.
I'm going to talk less and smile more and just say subscribe to our YouTube channel.
Nate Crandall and Steve Gallen would like to thank you for tuning in to this episode. If you love what you're experiencing and learning from the Stop Parenting and Start Coaching podcast, please like, comment, and or leave a glowing review of this episode and the show. And to further help Nate and Steve expand their reach and impact thousands of parents, athletes, and performers, please share the show and subscribe to the Stop Parenting and Start Coaching podcast channel on YouTube. And if you want to explore further to see what Nate and Steve are creating to help parents of athletes and performers everywhere, please visit their website at createtransformbecome.com. That's createtransformbecome, all one word, .com. There you will find a growing number of tools and resources to help you elevate your parenting. Thanks again for tuning in. Now go create a magical relationship with your athlete or performer.